The 13900K is one of the fastest CPUs on the market for gaming, but it's also one of the hottest CPUs on the market. Let's see if we can fix that with a little bit of modding today. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Chamber here, and I recently picked up myself a 13900K. I was upgrading to DDR5, and I didn't like the way 12th gen was performing with DDR5. I wasn't getting the frequencies I wanted, so I said, hey, let's go the highest end 13th gen at the time. I know the 13900KS is out now. It was not out at the time of this. I'm still not getting a KS. It's not worth the price difference. $150 for 100 megahertz isn't worth it. One thing I was noticing while stress testing, even on stock speeds, was this CPU is getting very, very hot. Now, yes, I know I don't have a custom loop, but I have a really good air cooler with really good fans, and I'm like, this is getting hot. Well, I already had the delid tool. I did it on my 12700K. If you guys want to watch that video, go ahead and watch that video, see my results, see me delid it. But I said, hey, let's really see what this does. Doesn't matter, because Intel has always been iterating, especially ever since 10th gen. With 10th gen, they made the IHS thicker. They made, I believe, the die thinner, or the actual chip itself. 12th gen, they made the solder, the die, the chip, everything, so the IHS was as massive as possible. Let's just see, really does the solder impact it that much, and replacing it with liquid metal. If you guys are interested in picking up any of these products, including the 13900K, or the delid kit, or the liquid metal, or anything, I'll leave a link down below, affiliate link, so they support the channel as well. But let's get right into delidding the CPU. So let's start off by getting a baseline. So for the cooler, we will be using the Arctic Liquid Freezer 2. This is with 3 T30s on it. T30s on the top, the side, 1 T30 on the bottom, all at 2000 RPM. I will be running CPU at stock speeds, just because even at the frequency of 5.5, 4.3 on the E-cores, and then for the ring is at 4.9. This does drop 4.6. This does kind of drop and vary a little bit, just kind of depends on the load. But this is already hot enough. We'll be tracking voltage, power, and I will be running hyperthreading on, E-cores on, small, extreme AVX2. This is the max load that you can run in OCCT. I'm gonna run it for 10 minutes, and we'll see what temperatures are, power, voltage, and then it's time to crack open the chip. 10 minutes later, here we go, we can stop it. So average V-core was about 1.24, averaging about like 1.25, 1.27 here. And the power draw on average was about 344 to 380, kind of in that range, max of 405. Frequency was averaging about 5.3 on the P-cores, 4.2 on the E-cores, and then ring was at 4.5. So pretty good. Definitely was down clocking a little bit, and it was hitting on average, you know, it was really hitting in like the 90s, 80s. So let's see, core package, average 90C. Yep, it was getting hot. Now, some of this temperature, the average isn't amazing, but if we look at here, as you can see, it was definitely hitting 100 degrees pretty much the whole time during the test. So now, let's delid it, take the CPU out, and see what kind of performance we can get with a delid. All right, so we've removed the CPU, and as you can see, the thermal paste spread is actually pretty good. So, you know, it's definitely kind of pushed out to the sides, which is what you want. It means creating good contact with the contact frame. I don't remember if I actually said that, or I'm using KPX. And you see same thing. So really good thermal paste contact. So it wasn't thermal paste. Now let's take the CPU out, clean it up, delid it. So here we have CPUs cleaned off in the delid already. So here's what we have. We have the delidding tool itself. This is the Allen key to actually push this to take the delid off. We have Quicksilver for after. So what this is for is this allows the solder to be easily cleaned up by, it's a mixture of gallium and indium. This is what you use to remove the solder. It just kind of eats it away. Now, this delid is actually easier than my 12700K if you've seen it. Now, here is the 12700K itself. Let me take the IHS off real quick. So here with the 12700K, if you guys may see, you have these two little orange spots here. These have capacitors underneath it. Now, the 13900K and all 13th gen do not have those two little capacitors there, meaning that you only have to worry about the capacitors right here and the capacitors right here. So as long as the IHS does not move when delidding, you are all good. Now let's get to delidding it. I'm not going to show the delid process. If you want to, you can look up guides. This is not a guide here. This is just me showing my results and if me recommending if you should do this at all. All right, the CPU is back installed. I just got to reapply some KPX. Let me find wherever I put the little syringe of KPX. Oh, it's right here, perfect. So yep, gonna reapply this. The cold plate is clean, so is the CPU pretty much. I just need to kind of wipe it off again. But I do have liquid metal underneath and above it. I'll put a picture of it for you guys. I posted one on Twitter. Follow me there, and we can actually see the temperature results now. Alright, so we're running OCCT small, AVX2 extreme. One thing you'll notice that the average temperature is about the same. But look, core clocks are actually boosting up to 5.4, which they were not doing before. Power is actually about 15 watts higher, so it's definitely pulling more power, and V-core is slightly higher. So what does this mean? This means that the CPU is actually able to pull a little bit more power, so it's using more of its thermal headroom, still staying about the same thermal temps. Think of this as kind of like how Precision Boost Overdrive works on AMD, but I have another idea. So I have my 12700K already, and it already has liquid metal on top of the IHS. I could do this with a 13900K IHS. I kind of don't want to ruin it. As you can see, this is what liquid metal does to an IHS. Kind of removes all the lettering and stuff. So I'm going to take this IHS off, put it on the 13900K, put liquid metal on top, liquid metal on the cold plate of my liquid freezer too, and then we're going to see what FPS is like. If you're doing something like custom water cooling and you have like a nickel plated water block, you can use something like the copper IHS from Rocket Cool. I'll link it down below in the description, as well as the dealer kit. This is the older version, which does not work with the thermal rate frames. The new ones do though, I've heard accordingly. But if you get the new one, you can use a thermal rate frame, put liquid metal on top, liquid metal underneath, liquid metal on your nickel plated cold plate. You do not want to mix this with copper. It will be a very bad time trying to remove it. Then you can see temps, but I'm gonna go straight for full liquid metal because that's what I got the best results with, and not using thermal paste on top. So looking at these temps, you see they're still pretty high, but here's what you want to notice. Voltage is a little bit higher. It's about the same kind of, but look at the power draw, 400 watts. This is a little bit higher. It's actually hitting 408, and we're also even longer into the test. So what have we learned here? Intel is letting lower temperatures boost these CPUs higher, and it's also holding higher clock speeds. So we're holding 5.4, 5.5 instead of 5.3, 5.2 stock. So we gained power just by lowering NEMs. So basically, if you have any way of lowering temperatures, that's what you want to do. The lower the temperatures are, the better these are. That's what I've learned from Intel's boost algorithm. I'm definitely going to mess around with some fan configurations and stuff to see if I can get higher performance, lower temperatures. So a little update for you guys. As you know, I said in stress testing, you really didn't get a temperature difference, but you did get a frequency and clock speed difference. Well, in my own time, I was loading up Battlefield 2042. Best FPS game out right now, by the way. And I was just like, let's see what the temperatures are. Now, this game was running about 80 degrees, and it was fully boosting, so 5.5 gigahertz on the CPU all-core. And I was getting about 80 C in some of these games. Now, this was at 1080p low settings, so really hard on the CPU itself. This is a CPU-bound game there, especially in 1080p low. And I was noticing 80 degrees. With the deal, I was at 65 degrees max, no, like, nothing. It was going 60, 65, 60 in menus, 65 in game, which is really good and not going any higher. So 15 degrees in games is really nice. Like, that's something you'll notice. You'll get a little bit less heat coming out of your room. Room might be a little colder, so definitely a benefit there, and something that we did not see earlier in this video. If you guys have enjoyed, hit that like button down below, subscribe. If you guys are new, let me know what other cooling mods or any other mods you guys might want me to do. If you want to support me, hit the link down below in the description. You can support me through Discord. That way I can afford a custom loop, get that EK direct die block. But see you guys later. Peace.